Mark here with another fragrance review, this time on the fragrance house of Labo and their fragrance called Rose 31. This is my first stab at a Labo fragrance review. I decided to do it, of course, with the one that caught my eye back in 2009 when I first started looking into this house, which of course is Rose 31. So in this introduction, I'm going to let you know a little bit about the house, and then I'm going to let you guys know the nitty-gritty of Rose 31. So Le Labo, of course, the name comes from Le Laboratoire. In English, that's basically translated as the lavatory. Think of a science laboratory. They're just making your juice for you, and that's really the whole vibe of Le Labo. You go to a store, they're going to make it right in front of you, they're going to make the labels in front of you, all personalized. Very nice touch. So Le Labo was established back in 2006, so they're a fairly new fragrance house. The two owners are Fabrice Benoit and Eddy Rochi, both formerly from Armani Fragrances. That kind of makes me laugh a little bit, but it is a rather new fragrance house. They're known for blending the fragrances right before your eyes and providing custom labels on the fragrances as you see here, and of course on the box here. So actually it gives you fresh juice every single time. So if you're buying from Lucky Scent, you're going to see it's going to take a few more days for your order to go through because they actually get the juice from the Le Labo store in LA. So very fresh juice. It's not going to be sitting in the store until you purchase it. So very, very nice. I'll be honest, when I first sniffed this line, I sniffed just their original line, none of the city exclusives. Back in 2009 when I first got into this YouTube thing, I sniffed like 5 or 6 of the line. I came unimpressed. I felt like they all smelled alike in some way. And you'll see in this review, I'm going to let you guys know about that. But this is the one that actually caught my eye, Rose 31, as being the one that was a little more different and the one that actually really caught my eye. And I felt that this line was a little gimmicky with their expiry dates and the laboratory thing, so I kind of, this happens. You're going to judge a fragrance house on what you think. But doing a little more research and looking into this house, I really came to appreciate what they've been doing. In my past few years, I've actually re-energized myself into this line. And as you can see back here, I purchased Bergamot 22, and there's a few more that I actually want to purchase from them. So it does happen that you do look at a line and you just say, oh, it's a 1 cent line, and then you take a look again a few years later and then you go, oh my god, there's a few more jewels in this house. So always great to revisit a line every so often. Now, how do they label their fragrances? I'm going to touch this real quick. The number on Rose 31, which is 31, refers to the total number of ingredients in that particular fragrance. So you're going to see different numbers on different fragrances. And the name, of course, comes from the one compound or the one ingredient that has the highest concentration in this fragrance, which, of course, in Rose 31 is rose. This usually plays tricks on the sniffer, since sometimes the name can be misleading, just because the largest ingredient in this fragrance is rose. It may not be the one that actually stands out to your nose. So it will play tricks on your nose, and it's done a few with other fragrances for me from the line. Now, this fragrance house, really unique. They make candles, they make body lotion, massage oils, even laundry detergent. It goes on and on. They're also found in hotels. They actually do bathroom amenities for some hotels. So you might see shampoo, conditioner, soap from Le Labo, especially from Rose 31. I hear Rose 31 is in a few hotels. Alright guys, time to tackle the big elephant in the room about Rose 31. The big question, I'm sure you guys have heard this before, is Rose 31 a rose-based fragrance? You're going to hear a lot of things about this fragrance. The rose is in the background. You can't really smell it. It's more of a cedar-based fragrance. It's more of a spice-based fragrance. There's a lot of musk in this fragrance. Is this a rose-based fragrance? If your favorite reviewer said no, slap them in the face. No, don't. Don't slap them in the face. Short answer, yes. Rose 31 is a rose-based fragrance. Let me elaborate. It's not a big, bold rose bouquet in your face. It's not that type of fragrance. A lot of us that have smelled a lot of rose-based fragrances are going to attest when there's rose in a fragrance, you're gonna smell it. It's gonna be right there in the forefront. It's either just rose, or it's going to be rose and 1 or 2 notes that's going to complement that rose, and that's it. It's going to be a big wallop of rose. The rose in Rose 31 is blended in a way that I've never smelt before in a fragrance that I've never smelt before. It is very tame. It's not aggressive at all. Most rose-based fragrance will give you a big wallop of rose right off the bat. It's going to be the central theme of the fragrance, and it will also overpower most of the notes in that fragrance. In Rose 31, funny enough, it's sharing the fragrance with the other notes. Is it the central theme? Yes. You will smell rose all the way through this fragrance. The whole life of the fragrance, you are going to smell rose. Is it in the background? Yes. Can you smell it? Oh yeah. You can smell it right off the bat. There's going to be some spice complemented by the rose. In the mid, you're going to get, again, you're going to get woods. You're going to get cedar complemented by, guess again, rose. Yes. And then at the end, of course, at the end of Rose 31, what do you get? Well, you get that signature musky scent from Le Labo, musk. And complemented by what? Rose. Yes. So yes, there is rose all the way through this fragrance. Is it a rose-based fragrance? I think so, even though it is more in the background. It's not in the forefront of the fragrance. You can smell it right from the first sniff right to the end of it. It's there, but it's not in your face, and this is what sets Rose 31 apart from the rest. Now let's review this bad boy. Let's go. Alright guys, let's tackle presentation, the bottle and the box for Le Labo's Rose 31. So let's take a look at this box here. The first thing you're going to notice with Le Labo presentation is very simplistic. They're really going for that laboratory feel. It really reminds me of my days in science class, in my golden years. This really feels like a box that you just got a new shipment in for the laboratory, and of course the bottle, same thing. So just a generic brown box, feels like you just got a package in. They just put a little bit of tissue paper to soften the blow for the bottle so it's not kicking around. Just simple writing, Le Labo, Grasse, New York. And then this box is for all Le Labo fragrances, and then they're going to put a sticker fresh once you order it, because they have to put in some information in here, and that's how they seal the box, as you can see here. Now the information down here, let's take a look at it. It's going to tell you the fragrance that you purchased, the bottle size, the concentration. All Le Labo fragrances are EDPs unless you're purchasing a city exclusive. Compounded on, then it'll tell you where you purchased it. Mine, I got it in LA, West 3rd Street. And who made it? Sweet Dexter made mine. And then it puts, you can put your name or whatever you like. This sticker doesn't come with, I just blocked off my last name here. So it's for Mark, but you can put whatever you want. Batman, you know, if you're doing it for Sweet Gina, you can do that too. And then there's a fresh until date. I kind of feel that that's more of a gimmick or a thing that goes with Le Labo, which is fine, but don't be too hyped up about the expiry date on here. As you can see, mine actually long expired a year ago. Oh no, the world's gonna end. It's expired. No, it's not. My juice is actually fresh as ever. If you take care of your juice, that expiry date's not really gonna bother you. So let's take a look at the bottle itself. Again, simple laboratory-like look. Let's take a look at the cap here. It says Le Labo on it. And very nice, clean look. The cap has some weight to it. You got the nice little sprayer right here. And then you got that same information from the box on your bottle. And that's it as far as information. So there you go. This is a 50 ml. Sprayer works pretty well. Let's waste the spray. Not bad of a sprayer. Let's get to it. Let's review Rose 31. Alright guys, time to tackle, of course, bottle sizes for Rose 31. You can get a travel spray of Rose 31, which is kind of handy, a nice 15 milliliter bottle. You're looking at around $45 for that. In most stores that you're going to be shopping, or most of you are going to be looking at, is the 1.7 ounce, which is this guy right here, and the 3.4 ounce bottles. You're looking at around $140 to $230 American to purchase this fragrance. Now you can also special order or go on their website and get large flacon-like bottles for Rose 31. I believe they have 500 milliliters right up to 1 liter bottles. I couldn't find the 1 liter on the website, so that might be, you know, a special order for it. And of course this is an EDP, and it is a rose for men. Some say it can be unisex. I'll say it's more on the men's section of things than women, but I could see a woman wearing this. Now, Rose 31, of course, hit the shelves in 2006 for the initial launch of Le Labo, the brand. Awards. Has this won any awards on my channel? You guys can slap me in the face right now. I deserve it. It has not been in any of my top 10 lists. That's what happens when you're versatile as hell. I just overlook it every single season. It got a few honorable mentions here and there on some countdowns, but never been in any of my top 10 lists. I'm going to fix that in the spring top 10 list for niche. It's going to be in there. Group. This is a great way to describe this fragrance. It is a floral, woody musk. That describes it to a T. Add a little bit of spice and you're good to go. I'll send you off. Parfumier, Daphne Bouget. Now, Daphne has made a few Le Labo fragrances, of course Rose 31, the guy right behind me right here, Bergamot 22, and on the designer side of things she has done a few fragrances from Hewood. So you can tell that I'm kind of a fan of Daphne's fragrances. Recommended age for Rose 31. Now Rose 31 I would recommend for a more mature crowd. Now wait, I know what you're thinking. Rose-based fragrance, he just said mature. Hell no, I don't want to smell like a grandpa or a grandma. I know, that's clicking in somebody's head. No, don't get me wrong. This is not what I'm trying to mean by this fragrance is for the more mature crowd. I really think that this fragrance is geared for 25 and up. Reason why, the way it's blended, the notes in this fragrance, this is not something that's going to catch an eye of the women that are 21, 20 years old. You're not looking for this type of fragrance. This is for somebody that's looking for quality in their fragrances, sophistication. They're looking for maybe a signature scent, a versatile fragrance from the niche houses, something a little different but also safe in a way. This one is for you, 25 and up. I'm in my late 20s and I really feel that this fragrance is right up my alley. And I really think that it's something, you know, when you're out of college, I think this is something to look at. How many sprays can wear? I go one on the chest, my standard, and then I like to have a huge scent bubble around my face. I love this stuff. So I go two on the neck right here, right behind my ears, and then one on the back of the neck right here, hit the hairline a little bit, and I'm good to go. 4 sprays. You can do a little more. You can spray on your arms if you'd like to. But for me, the 4 is good enough. It's going to give me my 6 to 8 hours that I like. Let's take a look at the notes. Now, the note breakdown in Rose 31, the top notes, we got rose, cumin, pepper. In the mid, we got clove, nutmeg, olibanum, which is basically frankincense or incense. In the base, we got cedar, amber, gaiac wood, oud, cistus, which is labdanum, vetiver, animalistic notes. Now there is a note missing in this breakdown, and that of course is the signature, which I think is the signature of the Le Labo line. Of course, they're musk. There is no musk in the note breakdown, but there is a great big wallop of musk in the backbone of this fragrance, and you're going to smell it and you're going to know it. So I'm adding musk to the note breakdown. What are you going to feel from this fragrance? Well, of course you're going to feel the rose all the way through. I really felt like the cedar was a main player in this fragrance. And of course the big wallop of spice, the big spice bomb. Now, the spice in here are all spices that are really out there. You got pepper, you got cumin, and you got clove. These 3 guys are reasons why people hate fragrances. Some fragrances. They are, if they aren't a fragrance, they may just turn you off. And this is like weird for Rose 31 to be such a tame fragrance and to have these type of notes. This is a masterpiece, guys. I don't know how they... Alright guys, time to dissect Rose 31. I'm going to let you guys know what this fragrance smells like from top to bottom. With my numerous testing of this fragrance, I know it like the back of my hand. Now, it's beautifully blended. Okay. Starts off with light citrus, fresh, paired with dusty spices, which include the spice of cumin. Cumin, which to me, if it's strong enough in a fragrance, if it's in the forefront or not blended well, this can be a fatal error in a fragrance. It could just end it for me. You're going to start smelling like body odor, or you're going to smell like someone's cooking in the kitchen. Good news, great news for Rose 31. This one is blended very well. That spice is tolerable. You can definitely smell the cumin in here, but the other spices really tone the worst part of it down. Now again, rose. Rose is going to attack your nose from start to finish. The rose in here is subdued. It's slightly powdery at the start. Don't get me wrong, the rose is in this fragrance. When people say it's in the background, it's not way in the back, back. It's more in the front, but the other notes like the spice, and the citrus and the powderiness, the incense in this fragrance, the cedar, really come a little more. They attack your nose just a little more. So it is subdued, but you're not going to miss it. You're not going to miss the rose. There's no way to say, oh, there's no rose in here. Yes, there is. It'll be there for the whole life of the fragrance. It's just not in the forefront. It's just blended so well with the other notes. It's crazy. Now the pepper, the clove, they keep this one warm. But both, again, not aggressive in this fragrance. And that is the theme of Rose 31. Nothing is really aggressive, including the rose, the heavy spice, things like cumin, clove, pepper. Those things are highly aggressive in a lot of other fragrances. Rose, same thing, highly aggressive in your nose. This fragrance is very tame, very nicely done, especially with the spice. Tame, very, very tame. Now, once it's on your skin for a bit, you're going to feel some warmth from Rose 31. There's a little bit of smoky incense, not too much. The rose here at this point gets almost watery. But don't get me wrong, the main theme of Rose 31 remains dry. It's almost like there's raindrops on rose petals. You can feel the green, earthy vetiver peeking through, so it kind of gives it like an authentic rose feel, like it's outside in the rose bush. But the thing is with this fragrance is you can feel some cedar in the background at the start of this fragrance. It's coming through and you know it's going to take over this fragrance in the mid. But at this point, the spice is king with the rose. Now the main feeling of this fragrance, because there's a lot of heavy hitters in here, incense, vetiver, all those spices, the rose. I need to let you guys know, people that have not smelt this fragrance, it is surprisingly light and fresh at the start. It's not as thick or heavy as I'm portraying it to be, because there's a lot of heavy hitters in this. This is really a middle of the road. It doesn't jump off your skin. The spice is there, but it's not overpowering you. You know, like pepper in a fragrance, or clove in a fragrance, or even cumin. Rose even, it will attack your nose. In this fragrance, so well blended, so smooth. Now let's attack the mid. Let's take a look at the mid. Now once this dries down on your skin for a bit, you can really feel the dry woods taking over. It's like the spice is saying, okay, it's your turn. It's earthy as well, and the spice is still there, but very much softened, kind of turned down a bit. It really almost kind of turned into an animalistic feeling in the rose with the heart, with of course the clove and the cumin coming in. Don't get me wrong, the woods, the cedar mainly, and the rose go head to head for a few hours in this fragrance in the mid. So you're going to see a lot of that. That's your main theme. Now sometimes the rose peeks through the woods, but for the most part the cedar wins the fight in the mid of Rose 31. Pretty dry fragrance in the mid, I gotta admit. It's drier more than it is wet. The incense at some parts is pretty much up front, but sometimes it joins the rose in the background. Most of the time I really felt like the incense was more of a supporting actor in this whole fragrance, so you're not going to feel much of it. Sometimes not at all. The musk in this fragrance peaks through early. It peaks through in the mid, like midway in the mid, basically. And finishes, of course, in the base. It's going to finish up this fragrance. Vetiver also does peek through a bit to give it some manliness and, of course, some earthiness. Overall, this mid is dominated by the cedar. The cedar wood is your man, alongside with the rose and some of the spices, a little bit of incense, a little bit of vetiver, and a little bit of musk. Reminds me of a single rose sitting far away from a spice market. There's a lumberjack right beside you cutting up some cedar wood with a small fire in the background. That really is the overall feeling of the mid of Rose 31. Complex, subtle, well-balanced fragrance. In the base, very simple. Musky woods with the rose lingering in the background. So you're getting a lot of that musk from the signature of Le Labo, and you get, of course, that cedar wood dying down, but the rose is still there. The rose is a dominant force in this fragrance. It's going to stick with you from top to bottom. So let's get to the overview, and I'm going to let you guys know what I think of this fragrance. Alright guys, time for the overview on Le Labo's Rose 31. This is a first in perfumery. Le Labo doing what I thought could not be done. Other notes camouflaging rose in a fragrance for men. That's a great thing. With rose-based fragrances, you don't want to smell like an old lady. Lyric man, amouage. I'm throwing it out there. It's very masculine. Very well done, well blended by Le Labo. The rose in this fragrance is always there, but in the background. Is it really a rose? It's not dominant, it's not a bright rose, more dusty, dry, darker, but well balanced. This fragrance is more warm than cooling, but it's so well done that it's in the middle of the road. You can wear it in cool weather or warm weather. The spice and woods are not too dark. They're not up there. And the rose is not soft enough to really put this as a warm weather fragrance or a cool weather fragrance. It's right in the middle, and it makes it so versatile. This would be my suggestion to get your feet wet in the Le Labo brand. So definitely sniff this one out before you sniff anything else out from their fragrance brand, and see what you think. This is a great representation of the Le Labo brand. Black pepper, clove, cumin make this scent very spicy. Think Indian spice-like element. Now, all of these are very challenging notes in the world of perfumery, but yet Le Labo pulled it off. They made them all tolerable, make them work together so well. I'm flabbergasted on how those notes were put together, and this thing is so tame. Well done. The incense, the cedar, the vetiver really man this thing up quite a bit. The rose is in the background with some musk and slight dirty feel, animalistic. Great for a first timer in the niche genre looking into rose scents that like their woody and spicy fragrances. I really think that if you're into the woody spicy genre, this one's going to be a no-brainer to first get you into rose-based fragrances. It's a calm down, spicy, woody rose in my opinion. Very well done. It is very much a dry rose. It's unisex, but not as floral as most roses that you come to expect. This is definitely well done. Highly recommended for a first rose-based fragrance for a man. The rose is a major player in this fragrance, of course, but it really does share the limelight with the other notes, and that's what I really enjoy from Le Labo. Blended well. This is probably the best rose-based fragrance for men that does not push the envelope too much into the rosy floral side of things. It's a wearable rose for men. Can you dig it? It's balanced to the T. It's unisex, but I really feel it's going more to the men's side of things than anything, just because of the heavy cedar and spice in this one. It's versatile. It is a scent that I would recommend to wear year-long. It's signature scent worthy. Why would you hate this fragrance? Well, the rose haters out there. If you don't like rose in your fragrance, there is rose in here. What else? Why would you hate this? Powdery rose. A lot of people are getting a big wallop of powdery rose. I felt it, but again, it wasn't hugely powdery. The spice, the woods, the musk really took this fragrance over for me. And the powderiness that people are talking about is very subdued in my eyes. And it's not something that really bothered me, to be honest, but it does bother a lot of people. And of course, the challenging notes in this fragrance may turn it against you. For me, it was well blended, but for you, maybe there was a little too much pepper. Maybe you really feel the cloves in here. You really feel the cumin. It smells like body odor. It smells like someone's cooking in the kitchen. Maybe there's too much cedar in here for you. So there is a lot of reasons not to enjoy this fragrance. It's almost asking you not to like it with all these notes in it. But for some reason, I am strangely attached to Rose 31. One word to describe this fragrance: masterpiece. Bottles. Is there anything that really resembles Rose 31 in the fragrance game right now that I have smelt? None. I'm going to give you a few examples of different rose-based fragrances if you're really interested in them. Rose Poivrée by different company, absolutely gorgeous peppered rose fragrance, absolutely gorgeous. Black Oud by Montal has a rose oud combo. Number 88 by Check and Speak, same thing. Voyard de Rose, Noir de Noir by Tom Ford, Lyric Man, Bay Rose from, of course, Le Labo. And if you like that cumin rose type combo, Lumière Noire is a good one to check out. This fragrance reminds me of Terre d'Hermès and Narciso Rodriguez for him, in a way. Not in composition, of course not. Those aren't the same genre. But it really reminded me of them, how versatile and tame they were. Sometimes they feel like they're winter-based. Sometimes they feel like I can pull it off in the summer. They're really versatile and playing tricks on you. And I really think like Terre d'Hermès and this one and Narciso Rodriguez for him really do that trick really well. Versatile, signature scent worthy. And they're all great. All three of these are great on a rainy day. Funny enough, Rose 31, amazing on a rainy day. Best time to wear this fragrance: spring, daily. Loved wearing it. On a rainy day, a cool fall day, perfect. Compliment factor on Rose 31. Rose 31 dived. Compliment factor, where was it? There was no factor. Yeah, the compliment factor on this fragrance was not good. A few things that I could say is older ladies enjoyed this fragrance on me. MILF juice? I don't know. Older ladies really enjoyed this fragrance on me. I asked for a few people to sniff it on me and tell me what they thought about it. Not a huge compliment getter. It's not going to get you a million compliments a day. This is not what it's based out of, but really the older generation really enjoyed this fragrance on me. If you really wanted to know what the compliment factor was on this fragrance. My 2 cents, I'm going to let you guys know real easy. This one is running kind of long. I was very pleased with the cumin note in this fragrance, which was toned down. The rose was not overly in your face with some other fragrances or old lady-like. The spice was toned down. The whole composition is quality, and that's what I have to emphasize, is quality, is blended well, it's soft, it's unique, it's versatile. There's not much to say that is wrong with this fragrance. The one thing I would say is that it's lacking a wow factor. Sometimes it just felt bland. It just felt, it wasn't pushing me. You know, there's some niche fragrances that just push the envelope so much. Rose 31 was almost like trying to bottle it together and make it as tame and as gentle as it could be. So yeah, it doesn't have that wow factor that I come to expect from some niche fragrances. But other than that, this is an absolutely gorgeous fragrance. By Char Pass, Rose 31 is an absolute buy in my eyes. I absolutely love this fragrance. Go get yourself a bottle. Let's go to the rating system and see how this guy does on the scale. Alright guys, Time to rate Le Labo's Rose 31. Let's hit it off with projection. 6 bottles out of 10. You're getting a nice scent bubble. Not a beast in any way. Very good though. Longevity, 8 bottles out of 10. What I'm looking for, 6 to 8 hours. It's giving it to me. Sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less, but very consistent with that 6 to 8. Versatility, 9 out of 10. I can't even say any more. It should have got a 10 to be honest with you. Overall smell, 10. I'm ignoring the compliment factor. This is an absolutely gorgeous juice. It is a great all-season fragrance. I love wearing it in the spring, fall, and summer nights. To give you a few examples, this is one, if not the best, rose-based fragrance on the market today for men. Blended very well. Quality of the notes is superb. And if you're looking for in-your-face rose, this may not be what you're looking for. Overall, Rose 31 gets a 10. Welcome to the Perfect 10 Club, Rose 31.